Okay. Oh my God, the things I'm about to talk about today. The things I'm about to talk about today. Oh my goodness, God. You guys would not believe this. Justice. Justice for OCHANYA. OCHANYA. A little girl. Justice for OCHANYA. Let me start with that, okay? Let me start with that. Justice for OCHANYA. Let me put this up. Because when crazy things like this happens to innocent kids, okay, please allow me to speak from the bottom of my heart today. Okay, please. I'm asking you guys for permission. As a mother, a mother with one child, it don't matter how many children you got. I mean, if it's one or many. But as a parent who has a daughter, one child, she just turned 16. If you guys, most of my video, I always talk about her. So as a parent, please give me permission today to speak however way I want to speak. Because when I talk about Nigeria, sometimes I get some comments that I feel like I have to respond to. I don't have to respond, but I do respond sometimes just so you guys can see where I'm coming from. You can understand where I'm coming from and see the discussion from my own perspective, my own, not even about opinion anymore. This case I want to talk about. I said justice for OCHANYA. This case that I want to talk about, I haven't slept since I found out about it on social media for like 2 days now. On God, I haven't slept. Because I'm like, how do you even talk about? Yes, it's easy for everyone to say justice for OCHANYA, but how do you even begin to tell people, to spread it, to think into your mind that these things can be happening to innocent children, not just one child. When we say justice for OCHANYA, it means justice for all the little kids, boys and girls, who these things are happening to that people don't even know. They either cry in silence, they leave this world in silence, and nobody knows why. And because most of these kids that this thing happens to, I'm not saying, I said most of these kids that this thing happens to, because you can come from a privileged home. But I can tell you one thing. These things hardly, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm going to say these kind of things will hardly happen in homes that are okay financially. Privileged homes. These kind of things will hardly happen. These things mostly, especially in Nigeria, I'm not going to say Africa. When I talk, I like to talk about the country that I know. And see things that happen there, things that goes down there. I can only speak. I know this happens all over the world. Even in the United States here, I can also speak about it. It happens too. Fathers, men, graping. I cannot use the word, but you guys know what I'm saying. It starts with an arrow. It rhymes with graping. Men and fathers who sees little girls, little boys, who are attracted to little boys, little girls. Your day is coming. Your day is coming. If your day hasn't already come, it's coming. This little girl, OCHANYA, let me put this up, was raped by a father and a son in Nigeria for years, for 5 good years. For 5 good years. Oh, it touches me, it hurts. It just doesn't hurt at the top of my core. It hurts from the bottom of my core. It hurts my heart when I think about it. And this is why people say, oh, some parents, I remember when I used to tell people my daughter never went to a daycare because I was a stay-at-home mom. Thank God. I was a stay-at-home mom. Because I always used to hear stories in the world. America, even America, you take your kids to babysit. Sometimes you send your kids to a babysitter, you take your kids to a daycare, and that child doesn't come back. The child comes back in a body bag. You guys know what I mean by that. And it's not just even about graping. It's all kind of things that happen. So when I used to tell people, my child would never go to a daycare, I never had a nanny. I could if I wanted to. I stayed home, quit my job, stayed home. Once I was pregnant, I stayed home because I was terrified. I was terrified of things if I ever found out. Because I know how I am. Probably will go to jail, be in prison for the rest of my life for committing a you-know-what, unaliving someone. I used to imagine, like, if anything ever happens to my child, and I know, like, I could have been able to help, or if I didn't take my child somewhere, if I had done this, if I had done that. So paranoia, call it whatever you want to call it, overprotected. There are some people now, when I tell them, oh, how protective I was of my child, they say, oh, you were a little bit too overprotective. I said, no. No, nobody have the right to tell any parent that they're overprotected. There's no such thing. Parents, if you're listening, there's no such thing as overprotective when it comes to your children, especially young kids. Because these are the kind of things that happens to them. These are the kind of things, people are going to say different things from their opinion. This is Naomi speaks her mind as a mother of a little girl. These things, I have another story I'm going to tell after this. I have another news I'm going to give after this of a teacher graping a little boy in school. Parents, there's no such thing as being overprotective of your children, especially your young children who can speak for themselves. If you make decisions for your children, that means your children is not an adult yet. You make decisions. You're the ones that, if they're looking for someone to make a decision for that kid, is you. There's no such thing as overprotective. Because if anything happens to that kid, you're going to have yourself to blame. It don't matter what happens. You're going to lay on your bed at night, toss and turn on that pillow, and be doing what if, could have, would have. And if you're watching, may God not let any of us ever be what if, could have, would have, should have. May God not ever let us experience things like that. Amen. This little girl was sent. Let me just read it to you guys. A little girl, OCHANYA, justice for OCHANYA. She was... because I don't want to misquote or misread this. I'm going to pull it up. Yep, they even, right now, they're having a protest. Women today stage protest demanding justice for OCHANYA and taking the campaign to the streets. It's about time. I was wondering what was going on. Why were people not talking? And shame on the politicians. Shame on President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Shame on a lot of people that are keeping quiet. These are not stuff, especially if you know you have kids for you to keep quiet for. The government should take action. These things happen too often. Like we grow up and you hear a lot of people telling stories. Okay? You hear a lot of people telling stories of their childhood. And most times it's not pretty. It always has to do with grape. An older man. It's always the man. It's hardly you hear a woman in Nigeria graping or touching little kids or doing horrible stuff like this to little kids. Yeah, whooping, yes they do. But graping and defiling little kids is mostly men. And sometimes your parents, the parents of those child will find out and they will do nothing about it. Cry out. Especially because these days there's social media. Cry out. This little girl cried out. First of all, her parents failed her. People around her failed her when she spoke up. And where is she now? 6 feet under. Listen, let me pull this up, okay? Because this is crazy. This is crazy. So I'm going to play a video of the little girl talking about what happened to her. She's no longer here. This was when it happened, when she first went to the hospital and she told her parents what was going on and everything. I'll read the story to you guys once we're done listening to this, but I want you guys to listen.
When I was 5 years old, I went to my mother's sister's house to school because there was no school in my village. So when I went there, when I was 8, the son started sleeping with me. Then when the sister caught him, the sister then reported him to the father. Then the father scolded at him, and that was when the father started. So September, when I went to school, I was not feeling fine, so I came back home. I went to Federal Medical Center in Makodi here.
Are you guys listening? This is the little girl talking, and she's no longer here as we speak.
When I now came home, then that was when I told my mother that when I was in my uncle's house, my uncle and his son, they were sleeping with me. Mommy told me that
Can you guys?
When I was 5 years old, I went.
Hi, how are you? Good. Do you guys hear this? Do you guys hear this? I'm going to read this to you guys. It says, a 13-year-old girl who died after her uncle and his son raped her to death. When OCHANYA was 5 years, this is so sad. When OCHANYA was 5 years, one of the most intelligent kids in her village and wanted to be a medical doctor. So her mom sent her to the city to stay with her auntie and have access to better schools. When she got to the house, the aunt's son started raping her. Then the father, who is a lecturer, found out, and he then started coming home early from work to also rape her. They're going to rot in hell. They're hiding right now. They're looking for them. Both the father and the son. They're looking for them. They're going to rot in hell. And whatever they're going to get, they deserve it. And God will never remember them wherever they end up. God would never remember them. These evil, ugly human beings in this world. Father and son. Raper. That's how the father and son took turns and raped her for 5 years. For 5 years straight. While the auntie covered up for them till the little girl had severe infections and health complications and died. The father and son are still working free and living their lives like nothing happened. Now they're hiding because their pictures are everywhere. They're looking for them. They're hiding right now, but they're going to catch them. They're going to get caught. You can hide. You can run, but you can't hide. They're going to get caught eventually. And they're going to get... That's why sometimes we say people like this don't even deserve a day in court. Jungle justice. I don't believe in jungle justice, but there are some times that I say, there are some situations that I say, yes, there should be jungle justice. Situations like this, I'm sorry to say, jungle justice. They don't deserve to spend 50 years, 100 years, 2,000 years, whatever. They don't even deserve to be on this earth for what they did to this little girl who couldn't speak up for herself. And that our auntie failed her, miserably failed her. All because she wanted to cover up for her husband and her son. When her cousin found out, the father and the boys and the father and the boy's sister, when she found out, she spoke up. But you know how villages are. They don't want to talk about these things. How do you not think this is a big deal? For 5 years, she's 13 and she's gone. And parents, please, this thing is very common. Right now, my mom in Nigeria has a little girl that she's taking care of. She's funding her education. Thankfully, she's in great hands with my mom. I'm just trying to tell you guys how these things work. Some parents that cannot afford to take care of their kids, they'll keep having kids, they'll keep having kids, they'll keep having kids. And sending those kids to different homes for people to take care of. I remember last year I was in Nigeria. My mom has this little girl she's taking care of. She's paying tuition, she's feeding, every time she comes to America, we give her a bunch of clothes to take to Nigeria to go give it to the girl. We buy her a bunch of stuff to go use to take care of the girl. Because her relative has a whole bunch of kids that him and his wife can't take care of. And they keep having kids and keep sending their kids away to different homes for people to take care of them. They don't, sometimes for a whole year until December, they don't even see their children. They don't come to where their children to where their children are, to see how they're doing. Are they treating you nice? Nothing. I've been to Nigeria 2-3 times now since that little girl has been with my mom. The parents has never I don't know what her parents look like. I remember 2022, my mom sent the little girl to her parents during Christmas, and the parents couldn't wait to send her back. They kept calling my mom to send her back. You know what I'm saying? You know, they wanted to send the little girl back. It is very common in Nigeria. Parents, stop having children that you can't take care of. This is what happens sometimes, if not more than 50% of the time. It's not just about graping. It's about most of those children are being maltreated in homes. They can't speak nothing. They're being maltreated badly in homes. In a lot of homes. And they can't speak. Please, if you can't take care of children, stop having them. That's why I have just one kid. It's not like I can't take care of kids. I don't want kids that at some point that I feel like I'm choked, or I'm choking. I'm up to here because I'm trying to move mouthings for children that I knew that I couldn't take care of. Thankfully, I can take care of the one God blessed me with. But please, parents, if you can't take care of children, stop having them. You bring these kids to this world for them to be punished, for them to be miserable when they did not ask to be here. You can protect, you can prevent having so many kids, and they end up like this. Because they couldn't make decisions for themselves. Because I can bet if they could speak up and make a decision for themselves or run away, they would. But then those kids, some of them look, even when they're older, they'll be like, where am I going? Where am I going to run to? The society that OCHANYA, Justice for OCHANYA, the society she lived in, failed her miserably. If you see something, you say something. If you see something, you say something. That's our famous word, favorite word in the United States of America. Nigerians, if you're watching, if you see something, say something. And please, if you watch this video, pass it on. It don't matter if you're from Europe, if you're from the Caribbean, if you live in the United States, if you're white, if you're black, whatever you are. It don't matter, please. Justice for OCHANYA. Let's speak up. Let our voice be heard. Let the government in Nigeria do something about this. So please, if you ever come across this video, speak up. Justice for OCHANYA. The government, they're quiet right now. But the louder we get, then they're going to listen to us. Whether they like it or not at that point, because they can't hide behind closed doors anymore. The government, they're going to have to come out. Like if they wanted to catch that father and son, they would have caught them by now. But the government is quiet. The government is quiet. These are things that when it comes, especially when it comes to kids, we shouldn't be taking these things lightly. The moment you hear things like this, atrocious stuff like this about kids, government, everybody will march on. Take action. If not because of social media, now people are protesting. Now more people are speaking up. But when it first started, people just, and thank God for social media. Thank God for bloggers. Be it as it may. But if not because on social media they're saying these things now, nobody will be saying anything. It will be another kid and another kid and another kid and another kid. Just dying in silence. And please, as neighbors, be your neighbor's keeper. That's another thing I'm going to say. Be your neighbor's keeper. Keep eye on homes that you know that they're supposed to be taking care of kids that is not their kid. Just don't see something and look the other way and say, it's not my business, or it not concern me. Yes, so it concern you, it concern me. It's your business, it's my business. Especially when it comes to children. I don't play when it comes to children. You can unalive me, but I'm gonna speak my truth, and I'm gonna stand up for children. I don't care, because guess what? They can never speak for themselves. Justice for OCHANYA. This is sad and this is unacceptable. Nigerians, you all better stand up in that country. It's too many of these stories that come across. Oh, this person was raped. The other one was raped. Unfortunately for this girl, she caught an infection. And the infection, she ended up leaving this world because of that. So she was miserable for years in the hands of an evil man and his son. Two evil people. Please, let's pass this on, because this is not something that we should take lightly. You guys have a nice day. Annoying.